Hello there, good people, and welcome to It's a Shaw Thing. I'm your host, Rob Shaw, and we're talking fantasy football on this day, and it's time to talk strategy, folks, and it's very simple. This is what I have to tell you. Go with youth when it comes to selecting your horse. That is, of course, your tailback. So, for instance, last year, you look at what happened in Minnesota. Chester Taylor coming up over 1,000 yards, but Adrian Peterson was an early pick. Of course, Peterson's going to get the ball. Sure, it helped that Taylor got injured, but Peterson was sensational, which was expected. That's why he was selected so early in the draft. You look at Marshawn Lynch. Then you look at Andre Thomas. Two guys competing during the preseason in Buffalo. Who got the job? Of course, it was Marshawn Lynch. We saw what A-Train could do. He struggled with the Bears. They decided to go with the guy who was very good in college, and they invested a decent amount in. All right, now let's talk about this season. Darren McFadden, Justin Fargas. Fargas coming off a sensational season, but they just invested so much in McFadden. Obviously, there's a reason for it, and he showed us this past weekend. So on that note, you go with the younger guy. Look at Baltimore right now. Now, that's a team that's probably going to struggle. They're probably going to go over with the youth movement. They don't like the attitude of Willis McGahee, so pick up Ray Rice. That's the guy who's probably going to put up big numbers in the second half of the year when they accept the fact that they might not be in contention and say, hey, we got a rookie quarterback, might as well have a rookie running back, and just rebuild. All right, let's look at some of the other situations in the league. How about over in Carolina? Jonathan Stewart was a recent pickup in the first round, or D'Angelo Williams. Well, sure, Williams was also once a first-round pick, but he's had a couple of years. They want to see what they got in Jonathan Stewart, and what happened this past weekend, he was the one who shined the brightest. Jonathan Stewart is the better option in Carolina. What about in Arizona? Well, first of all, it happens to be a passing attack, a somewhat one-dimensional team, but who's getting the ball at the goal line? It's not Edgerrin James, not the old veteran. It's a rookie, Richmond's own Tim Hightower. That's the guy who's getting some opportunities to score some points and become a touchdown vulture, which means he has some fantasy value. All right, some other situations to look at. Houston, Amon Green, injury prone, don't you think? So who's going to get the ball? Steve Slayton. That's the rookie who had the most carries in week 1. Come week 3, he once again will shine bright. That is the guy that's going to have some fantasy value there, if any of the Texans running backs do. And then, of course, Tennessee. Lendell White had his opportunities, but they still felt the need to draft another running back, so they go after Chris Johnson, who has unbelievable speed. What happens in week 2? Chris Johnson elevated his game. Lendell White, well, just more of the same. So on that note, always go for the younger tailback. Why? Because number 1, the team just made a pretty big investment to get them. And number 2, well, we don't know what their potential is. We know what Edgerrin James is going to give you. We all know what Lendell White's going to give you, but we don't know what some of these younger guys are going to give you, and we're going to find out very quickly. Why? Because the NFL teams are very eager to find out themselves, and trust me, that does have an impact in fantasy football. Well, my friends, that's It's a Shaw time for now, talking some strategy.
So you think you can tackle a pro? There's only one way to find out. Click on fantasy at opensports.com.